Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Before I get into this video, I'd like to ask you all to please leave a like or comment on my video and consider subscribing to my channel. Now, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm actually just going to go out for a quick mine. And while I'm mining, I'm just going to go through a few topics within this whole situation that's going on between PD and Genesis Federation. Now, what's been happening between PD and Genesis Federation is a bunch of major politics. Now, first of all, there was a war between PD and Genesis Federation, and PD lost the war. So basically, they declared war on Genesis Federation to gain control over a portion of Astoria. And Genesis Federation said, "You're welcome to it. We will fight you. If it's war you want, war you will get." And they lost the war. Then, when they lost the war and Genesis Federation held a system, Genesis Federation found several funny things out. Now, I'm going to call it funny things because I can't really explain it in much greater detail besides this. So, in terms of Genesis Federation, what they did, they had this attack on them and they camped them at the station. Now, the miners kept coming out of the station non-stop. Every time they destroyed a ship, they came out with another ship. And finally, once they destroyed all the ships, the pods kept moving through. Now, when the pods kept moving through, they found it very, very odd. So they followed some of the pods to where they were going. And these pods were sitting in the mining belts. So this made players suspicious. They'd sit in the mining belt for 15 minutes, walk back to the station, then warp out of the station and back into the mining belt for another 15 minutes. And this continued to happen non-stop for as long as they held the gate camps. And there was not gate camps, dock camps, and there were so many of these ships moving in and out that it wasn't really a fair play situation when they figured out exactly what was going on. These were mining bots or farming bots, whichever way you want to call them. And this means that these players don't play the game, they simply sit offline and they make a ton of ISK based off whatever is going on within their gameplay. So these players are advancing through the game without having to have to be there or without having to have to even AFK or risk anything in terms of anything. They don't have to risk a single thing. They just have to sit at their base and everything is done. Now, considering what I have just said, I know players are going to be like, so do you mean that they are cheating? Yes, they are. They are using a system called botting, which has been clearly stated as being a cheatable offense, and it is something that the game has been banning players for. So, when Genesis Federation saw this and they reported it, Eve didn't ban the players instantly. So I'm suspecting that Eve is going to first run an investigation to try and figure exactly what they are doing. So, sorry about that. I'm just laughing at the comment there in the section. Yeah, I'm just doing this for a video. So most of the players here know that I don't mind. And I'm just doing this for the video to show you what was exactly happening. So when you go out and you mine, there is a certain period that it takes for you to actually pull in your materials. Now, for example, this ship over here will take about 15 minutes to completely pull in a complete haul, and that will be able to be processed into the material from Bistot, which is Megasite. So the reason why I'm gaining this is for Megasite in its highest quantities and its largest amounts. And this here is what I am doing. So if I was a botter, I'd come out, I'll do this here once with my optimal skills, and I'll set up the script so that it will keep doing this over and over. Now you get two types of botting, just in case players are thinking that Eve is being unfair with this. You get subscript botting, which means they add it into the game so that they can manipulate the system. And you get overscript botting, which is working over the display of the game where the game can't detect it. Now, when I say the game can't detect it, I mean basically it's running your mouse on your screen for you. It's making it move in certain directions, making it do certain activities. And basically, it means providing a certain amount of AI to get your missions complete and get things in the right set for you to actually have things done. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just trying to pause it. Now, what I did is something that a lot of miners do as well. Now, this is because we, as the regular miners, don't regularly want to replace our ships. Now, I'm not a regular miner, and I'm just saying we, as regular miners, just for the sake of it. But basically, what I'm doing over here is I'm setting up my ship so that if someone jumps into the belt, I can warp off. Now, this is what regular players do all the time. Now, when it comes to these botters, what they actually did was they went and they paired everything up in a script, and it's moving about doing the activities for them. Now, most probably because they were catching people who were subscripting into the game meta, these players have overscripted into their PC. Now, when your PC is scripted to do a botting activity, you're not going to detect it in the game. And you can even do a subscript for a mobile device, but sorry mobile devices generally don't get along well with subscripts. Sorry, not subscripts, overscripts. So what they are doing right now is they are trying to figure out if it is overscripted botting. Now, if it is overscripted botting, they need to find a way to prove it. They need evidence on this whole situation. Basically, if Genesis Federation has videos of this here for maybe like about an hour, they can actually submit it through to Eve support, and they most likely will be able to give a more conclusive result to this entire investigation. And at that point, it's going to be a benefit to all of the players of the game because you can't have botters like this getting away. In the end of the day, they make between 6 million to 4 million every 15 minutes. Now, let's say at the maximum they're making 6 million because they've got a nice territory with the perfect spawns of ores and they're getting compressed ores, everything within their belts. So that's going to put it up to 6 million every 15 minutes, times that by 4 for the hour. That's, sorry about that, I'm just doing the maths on my hand. That's 24 million an hour. And considering that for a day, 480 million, that's just 20 hours. 480 million. It's a massive figure already. It's going beyond my head to even just keep going with it. It's over 500 million, let's just put it that way. It's just under 600 million a day. So that's how much they can make a day, and they don't stop. There is no stop for them. It's 24 hours every single day, and that's how the scripts run non-stop. So they're basically mining out the game to make it super easy for themselves. Now, the whole issue between Genesis and PD was the racist remarks. Now, racist remarks are being used as a type of getaway free card or get out of jail free card because of the statements that are being made. Now, here is something which is very commonly known. In China, you get a certain amount of areas where you can go in and purchase game materials, game economy, and game money for a reduced price. These markets actually use massive numbers of devices to mine games out, and then they transfer it to you in game through whatever method is allowed within game. Now, these might be players doing that, or these might be players who are just playing unfair in the game so they can have the edge and rule everything in the end of the day. With the amount of resources that the PD Corp was making off those belts, they could afford to make massive fleets almost instantly without having the manpower required to keep it going. They just required to have small defenses. And that's exactly what was happening over there. Now that Genesis Federation has taken them on and defeated them, we're going to hear more and more of the story. Hopefully, Genesis will give us a few videos of this here. It might be an hour or 2 hours long. Post it up on YouTube. Share the link with the Eve devs. I'm pretty sure they will continue to investigate it, look at everything, double check everything over, and eventually they will ban these accounts. They might even ban everybody within those corps because they know they are benefiting from botting. And they know about the botting, and that's why they try to get Genesis out of the region. So that's about the gist of what was going on. As you can see, for me, this whole process is a long and tedious process. I'm sitting out in this belt, and anybody could attack me. I have to keep searching through the system. Now, I didn't search through the system while we were talking because normally we have someone sitting scout on our gates. And what they basically do for us is they give us a warning when someone is approaching this territory. You'll find a white writing saying 100 enemies coming in. Yeah, there you can see 100 enemies coming in, 5 enemies coming in, 1 scout passing through. We have all of that information related to us by players out in the further systems, and it gives us a chance to pull in all of our miners and to get away from trouble. Now, unlike us, when a bot is attacked, that means the player doesn't even have to be in his house. He can be busy working his regular day job while the bot is running through the game for him and doing all the work. And then he just has to come in with his one account and he'll get everything given to him by his bots. And he can go out and he can farm with a cyclone worth 3 4 billion ISK with all its fittings, kill as many players as he wants, return to base, lose his ship if it ends up being that way, get another ship and be out immediately because he is making on total from his maybe 10, maybe even 100 bots between 3 and 30 billion ISK a day. And for him, those losses are like nothing. They just an instant replace. And that is how unfair it is when people bot in the game. It makes the game effortless for them and it makes the game harder for other players. It also degrades the market values of items, and that is why a lot of players disagree with this. So I hope that you do understand exactly what's going on. Now, the Genesis Federation were marked with the racist remarks. Now, I don't believe that they were actually racist. I believe it's just them calling them out for botting and them trying to find a way to avoid any penalties happening to them for their unfair gameplay styles. So, thank you all for watching and have a good day.